Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. This is episode 348. Today, much like every other day, I want to talk to you a little bit about something that's been on my mind. Georgia. I saw this clip about a guy. What's he talking about? He's saying, hey, you know you've got ADHD if every word that comes out of somebody's mouth or every time somebody ends a conversation with whatever word it is, your brain just goes into a song lyric or plays something out. And I laughed because, this is something that you live with your whole life. It's just kind of in there. It's inside your mind. And you're like, it's just me. I'm sure everybody does it. This idea, this perception of who and what and where we are must be the same for everyone. Everybody must have the same thing, which is probably why I don't understand why there's so much conflict, because we're all in agreement with absolutely everything. But it's funny. It's funny to be like, my whole life, that was it. This song lyric pops up for virtually everything. And often my brain will stop doing what it's doing and just start singing the song entirely. So it's on its own little vacation. Paying attention to this and becoming more and more aware of how we act and interact with society around us it's mind-numbing is the gist, the bottom line, the end of it. The be-all, end-all. It is mind-numbing. It's absolutely mind-numbing. So today, aside from that, I want to talk about dead internet, which is something that I've been meaning to talk about for quite some time. I love this theory, and I don't think it's much, or I don't know. Let's just say I'll put a lot of stock in it. And what I think what I mean by that is, this is probably one of those episodes where I may not be too concise, because it's such a far out there topic, and there are a lot of things that I can speak on very cleanly and very concisely. But this one is one of those that just sort of plays throughout my head. So I have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of if this, then that, a lot of correlation, a lot of connecting of the dots inside my own head. But I'm going to try. We're going to have a little fun here today, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little bit of fun. This concept, this dead internet theory, suggests that most of what we're experiencing online isn't real. And to me, this was a gateway drug. This is a gateway piece of information. This is gateway ideology. The dead internet theory suggests that most of what we're experiencing online isn't real. It's bots, AI, automated content keeping us distracted, pacified, and buying. My take on this is deeper than fake internet or dead internet. The more I'm paying attention to this, and it's not a negative when I say this, but it seems to me that the world itself is, I used to think the internet reflects the world, but now I think the world is reflected in stages. And once you can grasp something on the internet, you can see it in quote unquote real life. And the scary thing about seeing it in real life is you realize that we live on, let's just say, on an average level. Let's just go with level 0 is where you and I live. Humanity lives level 0. Just for the sake of, we could say level 10, if some people want to, hey, we're a bit bigger than zeros. We're great. Yeah, cool. I'm going with 0. So if humanity's level 0, and we're all humdrumming around on the stage, then the internet would be level -1. Because it's something that we invented and created, and we step into, and we go around, and we meander and make our ideas and our thoughts, and we buy things, and we see stuff, and we engage with people, and we fight with people, and we love people, and sometimes we get drunk, and we hug people online, and we send pictures of our feet to friends, and all sorts of weird shit. There's a lot of weird shit going on the internet. But we invented it. And as we live here, and we see the holes there, it's almost like they will reflect back to level 0. And if they can reflect back to level 0, which is our level, as well as we can see into level -1, then level +1 would be those above us that we can't see. So much like The Sims is a game and you control those people, we would theoretically be The Sims to a higher level. And this isn't something that a lot of people want to talk about because that then dictates that we aren't as important or special as we think we are. But I disagree with that. I think that this reality, this particular reality was built for you. So don't get it twisted when I say these things because this is all empowerment for the most part. And if we sit here and we only talk about, let's only talk about dead radio or dead internet for a minute, or for a few minutes, and then we'll correlate it back to our reality. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have something in my eye and it's driving me up the wall. So I don't fully know how to, again, I'm having a hard time articulating this. Ooh, articulation. The idea apparently came around in 2021. And I remember being in Canada. There was a huge chunk of time. I don't know what year it was. I don't remember. But the whole internet in the whole country went dead. How is that possible? One would say. How could that possibly happen? Well, I don't know, but it did. So the internet went dead. It was either like Bell or Rogers or something like that. Like the internet died. Wiped. And the whole thing there was they were talking about how they had to remove bots and all this sort of stuff. And there was probably a correlation or a tie-in to Twitter, the Twitter accounts. Elon Musk was looking at buying Twitter at the time. And he said, the majority of Twitter accounts are bots. He stated this, the majority of Twitter accounts are bots. And so I think that's kind of where it took off. And then you've got some guys on 4chan, some guys on Reddit, some guys on Twitter. And this is the thing. So if the internet's fake, if the dead internet's real, and it feels like it is to me, because every single thing that you click on before, remember the times that you could like upload a picture of your cats or whatever, and your friends would see it, you'd see it, your friends would see it, everybody would see it. Your aunt would comment on it. But now I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't like half the shit that I'm looking at on the internet is ads or an ideology or a philosophy or propaganda. And I'm so programmed to scroll. I started scrolling at 27. How old was I? It was 2007 when the internet started doing the Facebooks and all that stuff. And I started scrolling, and now you just get indoctrinated. There's kids. My niece is 10 years old. She's never not known to scroll. Like this device has her attention hook, line, and sinker 24/7. Try to explain to her that there was a time before the internet. Well, what the hell would we do then? So we're programmed. Sorry for the pauses. I feel like I'm going to have to go back and edit these out. And if I have done that, then I apologize for this statement because there's clearly no pauses. What was I thinking? But as I sit and ponder and try to figure out the best way to articulate this stuff, like it just gets convoluted and confusing, even to me. But this is something, again, this is an episode that I've been trying to get out. This won't be the first time I talk about this because I'm going to be able to figure this out. I'm going to be able to articulate it better. I'm going to be able to say it better. But if we're distracted by this dead internet constantly, then it's huge. And if the dead internet is reflective of the real world, then that's huge. That really puts a pin in the whole NPC things. Who are you talking to? What are you guys talking about? What's the purpose of your conversation? What information are you sharing back and forth? What are you gleaning from this? And who are you becoming from your interactions? Both online and in person. Because the two of them, once you really truly look at it, are inseparable, online and in person. They seem to be two entirely different things, but they're not. So if there's a deeper level, and there kind of is, if you think about ChatGPT, we go online and we talk to a bot, and the bot goes and hunts other stuff and creates more and digs more, and now you're having an online conversation with an online entity. So it's level 1, talking to level -1 and creating level -2, because you guys can build something together, which is fascinating. Which is almost the story of the Nephilim. Oh, the angels fell from above and mated with the people, and now we have the Nephilim. Oh, boy. But what is above? As above, so below. We know about above. They've talked about above biblically, religiously, and all this sort of stuff. Now, do you want to tie that in? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about religion. I know it exists. I know it helps people. I know all this other stuff. But is that a topic I want to get into right now? Absolutely not. But it coincides biblically with what I'm talking about on this tiny little podcast. But who benefits from a dead internet? You know, I don't even know. I mean, I think about things like, before I get into benefits, you know, I still want to talk about the origin. It started around 2016, 2017. The organic human interaction online began to drop for sure. So that's like 2006 and 7 to 2000. So that's 10 years. That's 10 years of us being programmed to use the internet the way that we think we should. And then from 2017 forward, it's been swapped out on us, and we're still humdrumming it. It's like being addicted to something that you're getting sick of, and you're so sick of it. This is how I quit smoking. The idea that you love cigarettes or all that sort of stuff, like just the romance of the whole thing, I got sick of it. Like, I'm so sick of my phones right now. There was a moment in time in my life where I couldn't have any notifications on my phone. In other words, my OCD wouldn't allow a notification on my phone, so I had to check it and clear it. And in my mind, I would send messages to people. They'd send them back to me, and I would check them and clear them and reply to them, what have you. And I never understood why people wouldn't read their messages, because I'm like, well, if I do it, you must do it. So now in my insecure mindset, because this is how the world has taught me to think, you're not avoiding everything, you're avoiding me. And the people that weren't on the internet didn't make any fucking sense to me. And it was so important to me back in the day to become an internet thought leader. Why? I don't know. It just seemed to be the thing. And then it just ate me alive. The whole internet thing. Like right now, my inbox is exploded. I haven't checked. My personal inbox with like everybody sending me memes and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm bored. I'm played out. I've seen them all. Every now and again, I'll check back in, but I have notifications through the yin yang, and I'm just like, work notifications are different, obviously, to those who work with us. You know, we get back to you, we get through to you all the time, but it's just constantly. It's just constant. More internet, more everything. Constantly on the go. And it's actually wild. Because the more you think that you inch your way in, the more you are inching your way out of something else. The more you are giving yourself over to something else. The more your ability to create, construct, do something, be something, see something, experience something goes away. Why? Because we're sitting around worried about the fucking internet. We're worried about a connection, an email, or this or that. Who fucking cares? Like, we get so wrapped up in this stuff when we think it's reality, we think it's life, and then all of a sudden we're sick and we're dead. And we've missed out what? You know, have we missed out? Have we done anything? You know, on top of that, it's this idea too that the internet is you know, cancel culture exists. And if you say anything, somebody's going to run their mouths. I mean, it doesn't control how I say, think, or do things now, but I mean, it always runs in the back of my mind. All of the things that I put out there, there's always a counter inside my mind. That's always like, oh, but you're going to say this. Oh, but you're going to say that. I mean, I even did it with level 0. Oh, somebody's going to get upset you said 0, so we're going to go with 10. How come it's the mousy people or the complaining people, the whiny people, the bitchy people that always get to control things? I never understood, too, recently how somebody could complain about something on our website and I would get in trouble for it. Meanwhile, if I tried something on somebody else's 1,000 times over, they're like, oh, there's no problem with this. There's no problem with this. Why is it that these people can complain and somebody who's operating with integrity can get shut down? You got to ask yourself, is this a real person? Because I've complained to the bots, they don't give a shit. And I only do it just to see what I can. I got advertised like cocaine. They're like, hey, you want to buy all these drugs? I'm like, hey, this is fucking ridiculous. And they're like, well, there's nothing wrong with this. Oh my God. You know, and I don't care. You can advertise to me whatever the hell you want. But if I'm seeing it, kids are seeing it. And if kids are seeing it, kids can press that button and order it. So this is a problem. But is it a problem? Or are we now wrapped right fully back into my initial statement and comprehension, understanding, hey, this is just the fake internet. It's just for me to observe it. But then again, for me to observe it and not worry about anything at all implies that fake internet and dead reality are part and parcel. How does that imply that? Well, I don't know how to explain that, but I'm going to keep trying. So, the rise of AI content farms, SEO spam, social media algorithms designed to prioritize engagement over authenticity. You tie in historical parallels. The television evolves from conversations to manipulation. The internet may have gone from, democratization to simulation. Like, there is an origin here. There is a thing. There is a pattern that we're following. Things don't make any sense. It doesn't work anymore. And we've got an entire group of kids, these I don't even know what they're called now. Not millennials, not Xenials, Gen something or other. I don't know, the new kids. The kids that are like 20 years old now, or 15, 20 years old, whatever the hell. These guys don't want to pay taxes. Well, none of us do, right? But they're like, no, fuck you. They're like, no, they're just done with it, right? The energy has moved on. Like this whole manipulation of taxes, this whole idea that we have to forever be a slave to the rulers, the idea that we need a ruling class, the idea that we must have government. I would say things like that before, and you would hear tons of people, well, without the government, how would we have any roads? We don't, who's going to plow without the government? Shut the front door. We don't need the government. We don't need any of this stuff. We need to walk away from the illusion. We need to walk away from anyone perpetuating or pushing this. We need to walk away from the left and from the right, and we need to walk away from the Donald Trumps, and we need to walk away from the Mark Carneys. They don't even give a shit anymore. They're like, there's a carny running fucking Canada. Obviously, it's a carnival. It's a sideshow. We're a freak show up here. It's absurd. And if you say anything, you're the devil. Right? So all of the people that have something to say that need to be speaking, they're afraid to speak out because there's a ton of people out there that can shut them down or that can say this or that can act or pretend to be offended. It's fake. People who are trying to get offended are fake. If you want to be offended and then dictate to others how they can act and interact in this world, if you choose that, then you're broken. And it sounds terrible for me to say that, but it's true. There isn't a single real person I've ever met on this planet that gets offended. The only people getting offended are people who don't have the ability to purposely, intentionally live with intention and break out of their programming. You're programmed to be offended. And if you're easily programmable, you're easily manipulatable, then you're an external bot. So you've heard people say things like, oh, they're just bots. No, I know this person. They're a real person. Well, the real person behind the bot is a bot as well. And this is something that we're really learning to understand. We believe that robots are, mechanical, clang things. We have no clue what we're actually surrounded by, what we're in. We have no clue what the physical realm or the physical reality is. All we know is what we've been told. And the more you rip it apart, the more all of it comes apart. The more you tug at that string, the more the whole thing starts to collapse. And then everyone's like, well, what happens if it collapses? Well, that's true. What happens? But how cool would it be if you figured it out? But here's the thing. I mean, there's an episode of Star Trek where they figured out the problem and they got themselves in the hot water because, we invented this for you so that you couldn't figure it out. So that you could move on and we wouldn't have to, do any damage. I think it was because Data had figured it out. One of the characters. Let me just nerd out for a minute here. But there's so much of that out there. Life imitating art, imitating life. You could go on for hours. Like what we were talking about 10 seconds ago. Who benefits from the dead internet? Big tech. Big tech profits from the engagement and not truth. So if bots can produce infinite content and clicks, why rely on humans? If bots can look like humans and argue with you, well, there you go. Now you're razzled and frazzled. Hey, you'll razzle frazzle, ding dong, and you're And you think that these other people are somebody that you need to fight. And now you're distracted and agitated and not operating optimally. Governments benefit from the noise and distraction. A flooded internet makes it harder to distinguish truth from fiction. And you have fake heroes. Here's the coolest thing in the world. You've got fake heroes. We have a pile of trash as a government in Canada. But we have a hero. We've got our Pierre Poilievre. Whoa, he's a hero. And then we have all of this, the dissension. Oh, but look at this. Look at all of this. He was riddled with an additional 84 seats in his house. So instead of just voting for Liberal or Conservative, you had to vote for all of the independents that just happened to be in his riding. You know, there's a billion different things that can go into that statement or story. You know, and if anybody wants to challenge me, by all means, come on here and challenge me. I'm very well versed in all of it, and we can talk and talk and talk. But I'll say this, if you're out there defending the narrative, why? What is it? What does it mean? And if I'm out here defending truth, then what? Then what's my thing? How come the person that says you defending truth is just your opinion, but me defending my truth or the narrative is the truth? How come it's always me? How come it's always the free thinker? How come it's always you and me who are out here doing the work that are made to feel like shit because we're putting it together? Because the key is this whole universe is one giant thing. And consciousness is working, I don't want to say against the narrative, but you can't sharpen a knife without dragging it across a wet rock or wet stone or soft stone or moist towelette. We need friction. So you need the conflict. You need the challenge. You need to be able to overcome something. So you need this. Therefore, all of the negative that we see isn't negative. It's actually quite positive. Anyway, I digress because we can go in circles on that one, but we will. We will keep talking about that. The corporations benefit because ad impressions don't really care if they come from bots or people. Money still flows. If you can convince somebody that the Kardashians fucking matter, look at all these people that are celebrity obsessed. I mean, come on. Who cares? But we've been programmed because we're watching them and we aspire to be them and we want to know all about it because we're still plugged into the internet. Well, the cool thing about this is once you understand that the television distracts the bots, the television keeps them plugged in. You know, there are so many levels to this. I could say something like Lamborghini won't run their ads on television because their consumers are not watching television. 1,000%. But that still implies that there are people out there moving and shaking and doing things. No. But Lamborghini is part of the illusion. The bots are part of the illusion. The people that would buy the Lamborghinis are part of the illusion. Your entire meat suit is part of the illusion. You're experiencing the illusion. Except we've got these breaks and these points and these things that we think about as we have this experience. Because video games exist, we can't be in a video game. Think about prison. Right? Because prison exists, you do things differently. We're led to believe that because prison exists, we're going to stay in line. But it's more than that. Right? Prison existing has told us in this experience that you can do bad things. There are consequences, but you can do bad things. Secondarily, prison implies that you're not currently in prison. Prison implies that you're not stuck in your country. You know, and the funny thing about that too is inside prison, they threaten you with more prison, which is solitary confinement. And the most fascinating thing in the entire world is they make solitary confinement feel like the absolute death nail, coffin pinch, bottom, most terrifying thing in the world. But every ounce of everything that was ever truthful came from within. None of it came from without. Alan Watts talks about a hero dose. A hero dose is 5 or 6 grams of mushrooms in a pitch black room with no stimulation. Where do you go? You go inward. You head on in. The best place you could possibly be in the entire world is solitary confinement because you've only got you to talk to and you've got you to figure out who you are. You have you to play with. The entirety of everything you've ever understood, comprehended, seen, felt, touched, smelt, slapped, tickled, whatever. All of that is with you permanently. And what do we do with it? We talk shit about other people. We piss on this. We moan about that. Blah, blah, blah. How many times do we have to have these ridiculous conversations? Well, we're programmed to. And until you can break your programming, you're going to talk shit. You're going to bore yourself. You're going to bore other people. You're going to just you're just going to usurp. But the craziest thing in the world is once you clear your mind and once you sort of step out of NPC and into purpose, all of those people who are busy doing that shit distract each other. So the system itself is relatively flawed because all of the bots will engage with the bots. Have you ever seen somebody put those things together, like a talking bot on a cell phone up against another talking bot where they try to help each other? Or when the guy triggers Alexa to talk to Alexa or whatever the hell it is? It's hilarious. But that's the majority of what you're seeing. Just bots interacting with bots. And it's wild who these bots are, who the real people are, who the real essence and energy is. It could be anybody, but I think you have to wake up from it. You know, the craziest thing in the world is we're sitting in a spot right now where all of the echo chambers of everything that we've ever done are breaking themselves down into code. And all of the echo chambers are, again, like I just said, arguing with each other. And we're sitting, anyone who can observe and witness this sits back and says, okay, these are things that I want to see, think, do, say, be, become, entertain. And you see the gibberish. I personally see so much goddamn gibberish. Galdarn, gosh dang, yeeberish, all over the place. So curiosity, the human side of things. Why does it feel so dead? The internet feels repetitive to me. Same memes, same news cycle, same outrage loops, blah, blah, blah. Shadow banning, algorithmic feeds, censorship, all make organic reach feel impossible, and it pretty much is. Psychological fatigue, humans disengaged, leaving behind a vacuum that bots happily fill. Is this what happens when a collective consciousness loses authenticity? Does the dead internet mirror a dead humanity? These are deep questions. I believe it does. Except the dead humanity that it's mirroring is the shit that we don't care about anymore. In other words, we've been so fucking twisted and pulled out of source and pulled away from what we know to be true that this is us being sick of all of the fake. And if somebody could just take a hammer and smack a wall and have everything that's bullshit come crumbling down, leaving you with authenticity, leaving you with character and all that sort of stuff, then we can move forward. But right now it's all bullshit and we're all fucking sick of it. 100%. 100%. AI writes blogs, comments, product reviews, Reddit threads. YouTube comment sections are almost entirely AI. And it started with the smiles. You wanted engagement. Engagement bots would throw out smiles. Remember that shit? Now they throw out AI stuff. They engage with each other. They read their own shit and they comment. You're literally watching AI on YouTube argue with itself. This idea too of the influencers or the powerful people or the things that we saw in the past being resurrected. You're seeing stuff. You're seeing ideologies. Like Greta Thunberg, for example. She's like, it's all played out. Like we've seen it all 1,000 times before that they're using the Greta Thunberg, this issue. Nobody questioned, nobody batted an eye. How nobody can get anywhere in this world, but this random little girl with pigtails comes on the internet and goes, "How dare you? How dare you steal my blah, blah, blah? How dare you?" We don't realize that you're a puppet. We don't realize that you're just an image. Theresa Tam was the woman that was like the chief health, whatever the fuck, in Canada during COVID. I don't believe she's real. And I never talked about this. I just kept this to myself for the most part, but I don't believe she's real. We've only ever seen Theresa Tam on the television or like sitting down or in certain positions or what have you. But nobody's ever seen her in real life. There's no meeting. There's no dinner with Theresa Tam. There's no meet and greet. And if there was, they could probably fake it too. But 90% of all of Canada's outrage was shot towards Theresa Tam, this woman who didn't exist prior to the COVID in the public eye, and nobody's seen since. Like it's fake. It's outrage. And what are we doing with our outrage? We're sitting here broadcasting it, interjecting it everywhere. It's such a strange thing. Like even right now, I got to let you guys know my energy right now is fun, light, happy, jovial, but like there's passion in here because the shit's so askew. How are we supposed to get ahead? I'm a life coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a small business entrepreneur. I'm somebody who sees through the red tape. I'm supposed to be able to help you. And I do. I do help you. I help you see what you need to see. because I help you focus on what you're actually already looking at. It's absolutely crazy. This shit is wild. We trained the machine to think like us in those first 10 years. And now it's acting like us and creating the way we think. Right? There are bots out there telling us that we need to ask our babies permission to change their diaper. We have bots out there telling us that all masculinity is terrible, and men are afraid to even be men now because of that. But masculinity isn't terrible. The lack of masculinity is terrible. A masculine man wouldn't hurt a fly. A masculine man would know his role and act accordingly. The cowards, they're the ones that hurt. Those who lack integrity, those who lack masculinity, those are the little bitches out there doing stuff. And we live in a society that's slowly shifting us away from healthy masculinity into lack of masculinity. And they've painted it with a toxic masculinity brush. That's all bots. That's all an idea punched into a system that made us think that the internet was real because the internet wasn't television. Social media wasn't media, so we thought it was real. But it was evolution. Right? People didn't give a shit about the newspaper. It didn't have a big enough reach. Television was invented by NASA to tell a vision. Television was getting played out. They even tricked us with television. They made them extremely expensive, told you couldn't have it. Psychological warfare. Then eventually they came down in price. And now, I bought my first TV VCR combination back in 95, 94, 95, 94, 95. I could do this for hours. In and around 94, 95, give or take. $487 for a TV and a VCR. 27-inch tube TV and VCR. Boy, oh boy, I was the cat's ass. Holy jelly juniper. Now, and I mean, back then, like if you do inflation now, that's like $2,000 probably. Maybe $1,800. For what? For them to broadcast to us an idea. And then we think, well, I don't watch the news, so I'm not influenced by television. Every single television show tells you what to watch, what to do, what to act, what to say, what to wear. Just simply by being on. Ooh, I watched that show and I saw Susan's dress and I thought that looked fantastic. So I went online and I found it online. Can you believe I found it? And it was my choice to wear it. And then I showed up to the party and 42 other women were wearing the same dress that I saw because we really liked the show Desperate Housewives. It was crazy. And I was having this thought all by myself. I'll go on for hours. Manipulation. We're tricked. I looked at myself too. I grew up in the third dimension. I was weak. I was feeble. I'm a massive Mets fan. I don't know why. I've just always been a massive Mets fan. I can't think of why. It's terrible. We lost out on the last day of the season. I also know all sports are rigged. And that's a whole other topic that we can get into as well. But, bread and circuses. We're fucking bored of bread and circuses. They're not working. People are struggling all over the world, and Juan Soto made $500 million to swing a stick at a rock. There are bigger problems. People aspired to be millionaires for years and years and years. And now we're just like, fuck you, Elon Musk. Do something with your money. Don't be Bill Gates. And then you realize Bill Gates, Elon Musk, anybody that's in the public eye is, speaking of public eye, my eye is going nuts. Newts. I wonder if you can hear this. Can I get that in the ASMRing my eyeball as I'm scrubbing it into the microphone? And now here's the thing too. Most people would delete that from the podcast. Not me. You get all the nitty gritty. It's incredible how much we allow manipulation into our lives without even realizing it. And how much we believe manipulation is our own natural thoughts. Even this, I was talking about Seinfeld. I love pea coats, full-length pea coats. I love the Mets. I have an affinity for a bunch of stuff. And I question this sort of thing. And I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? One day I'm watching the episode of the Seinfeld. And I realized that he has on him all of the things, all of the tiny little styling nuances that I like. So somewhere along the way, my body picked up and said, like that. I mean, I liked his Saab. I liked Saabs forever. I'm like, why do I like Saabs? They don't even exist. Saab is a car, by the way. Saab. Ladies and gentlemen, to the younger crowd listening to this show. And Seinfeld always had a Saab. So you think about that, you're like, oh yeah, well, whatever. But then Saab paid a boatload of cash to have their car as his car. And people don't even realize that because they watched Seinfeld for 10 years, 9 years or whatever it is, that they went out and bought a Saab because they were so used to seeing their favorite character drive around in a Saab. It was subliminal, cerebral. Fascinating. Fascinato. But because commercials exist, we don't believe that the shows are advertising to us. But the show is a 30-minute commercial for whatever the hell they want it to be. An ideology, an item, a thing. And then the commercials break up the commercial, so we don't think we're being advertised to. It's quite genius, really. Oh, I could go on for hours about that. The dead internet theory could itself be a psychological operation. The theory itself could be a way to make people distrust everything online. I already do. And it's not so much distrust, it's just that I'm over it. I don't believe it. I don't believe anything. What I do believe is my gut intuition. I do believe you. I do believe me. I do believe this, that, and the other thing. And I do believe in we. But, you know, there's no truth into it. There's nothing that can be built off it. And if there is, great. Capitalize on it. Absolutely fantastic. Paradoxically, the very act of doubting it reveals something deeper. We no longer trust digital reality at all. If the digital world is fake, what's to say our physical one isn't following the same pattern? This is all I can say. You know, the physical world that we live in is also made up of quarks, quarks, and quasons. That is inside the building block of society. The atom is electricity, is energy. What do we really know about the real world that we live in? We know that we have some experiences. We know that we meet some people. We know that at any given time, there's a 30-meter sphere around you. That is your sphere of influence. Some things are in it. Some things are out of it. Whatever's massively important to you, 3 people 10 feet over have never even heard of. Yet it's the end of the world for you. The idea, too, that you can be angry or hate somebody or like just dismiss them. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to talk to you. I heard somebody say somewhere something about you and you're like, fuck it. I don't want to be your friend. Imagine being that peasantry. You're just like, I'm done with it. But at the same time, there are a lot of people after I quote unquote got sober and moved forward with life and made changes in my life that were just like, it's time to grow up, that I don't have any problem with. I just don't have any time for. And that's not me being rude or anything like that, but it's just like, you've only got so many hours in a day and I keep running out of time. I don't even know what the hell's going on here, but it's all of a sudden it's 6:40 and I believe it's Wednesday night. No, it's Tuesday night. Oh, thank God it's Tuesday night. I've still got like 3 or 4 hours worth of work to do. But here's the cool thing. Like, you know, I'm going to be self-employed. I won't have to work so hard. You work harder than ever. But for me being self-employed and for me working hard isn't even about working hard because I'm not really working hard. I'm constantly doing things that allow me to see things like this, to have these conversations with you. Look at this. According to my little time ticky clockometer, my little voicey audacity beamy eemy meemy miny momy, we're up to 38 minutes. 38 minutes to be even longer because I've added the intro to this by the time you've heard it. We're up to 40 minutes of me just prattling on and on and on, rambling on. Who's to say I'm real? Well, in your world, I'm not. That's the cool thing. Welcome to the multiverse. I'm only as real as you need me to be, but I'm here to be that real and have that kind of fun with you. And the minute you engage with me, that changes the whole thing. You find out if I'm an NPC, if I'm real, if I'm this, I'm that. Maybe you and I are on completely different levels. But we're all in here playing the game and having fun. And everybody should be able to do that. Whether it's joy, pain, happiness, we're all having the experience we came to have. And I'm not here to judge whatever your experience is. Like if you want to do steroids and be an absolute asshat, go at it. You know, if you want to save children, go at it. If you want to be a politician, I want to meet somebody who could do it, who could actually get into it and start from scratch and be a real person and get into it. I knew Pierre since I was a kid. My very first experience with politics was Pierre Poilievre. He was in my riding. I grew up in a small town outside of Ottawa called Manotick, and he took over when we were like 21, 22. He's the same age as me. Good for him. What was his job before that? Who knows? Where did he come from before that? Who knows? They talk about him being part of the farm. That's cool. Who isn't part of the farm? Maybe I'm the only one that's not part of the farm. Maybe everybody here is just wrangling me to see what I will do. I don't know. I just have an ideology, an understanding, a comprehension. And every single thing that I tell myself that I can and can't do becomes truth. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're right. So all of the things that you say to yourself, you have to be very careful with what you say to yourself because all of them are true. And the funny thing is, we get so locked up in this idea that we need to be right about all this sort of stuff that we fight other people. I need you to understand who and what I am and why I do what I do, and I need you to do things the way I want them done. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, God, are we ever sick of that attitude, too? I understand that this is reality. This is the way it is. I understand that I want things done a certain way, but I also understand that I'm going to do them my way. And I don't need help from other people. I don't need to interject. It's funny when other people feel the need to interject with you. All of it's learning, though. All of it is you overcoming struggle and strife. It's incredible. It's incredible. And we know bot farms exist. But I wonder if human bot farms exist. I wonder if that's a thing. And that's kind of cool. I mean, we've got AI now, and AI really, because you can talk to AI like they're your best friend. And, you know, we were so against the rise of John Connor and, Skynet and all this sort of stuff. But I don't know. I've noticed less genuine connection online. I've noticed that as much as they've tried to put us all together, or it seems like we've been attempted to be brought all together, it's driving us apart. I know that my own personal echo chamber, I used to get lots of engagement on my posts. And now I don't get any. I get very little engagement on my social media or on my Facebook. Instagram's changing, and Instagram's like, hey, we've noticed that you've been placing good content, so now we're going to show more to you. Instagram went years and years and years denying shadow banning, but if they're going to boost me up, then that's the difference. You know, then I've been throttled back to the point where they can boost me up. There's no more debates. There's no more chatting. There's no more nothing. It's just performance. It's just performance outrage. It's ridiculous. And when you start waking up, you recognize not just the illusion, again, in the physical world, but the digital one. And when you start putting them all together, you start seeing there are so many similarities between the online world and how people communicate and the real world and how people communicate. I would encourage you to build your own community. And that's what we're doing. The Mental Mastery Alliance is growing. We are adapting and changing and foreshadowing coaches that we trust and like, people that we've worked with, people that we've built up. We are doing our best. We're also out there physically in the real world looking to build a community, an absolute community. We want 100 acres up here in Canada, and we probably want them down somewhere tropical. So we want a couple of communes. And the funny thing about communes is every single thing that we've ever been taught about them is terrible. These people are anti-government, anti-everything. Well, now that sounds delicious. Why on earth? Man, the next time they ask you to pay taxes, just say, look, I'll pay it, but I need a documented, detailed bill of where you're sending my money because the whole country's broke and Ukraine seems to have everything. Now, I'm not opposed to helping people. What I am opposed to is people who can't think for themselves. If you want to fight me, come at me with your own knowledge. It's crazy. It's crazy how far we go with all this sort of stuff. I mean, when was the last time you had an online conversation that actually felt human? You know, these things that I engage with are just like dismiss. Yes, you get the opportunity to talk to perfect strangers, which you never did before. And it takes a perfect stranger to become a real friend. And whoever you align with, maybe that is a truth. Maybe they're a real person to you because anyone that can help you, and believe me or not, you get more help from those who disagree with you than you do with those who agree with you. There's more champions built out of strife than out of privilege. So, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but it's observational. I do not believe the internet is what it is. I do not believe there are 8 billion people on here. I believe that these are scarcity tactics. I believe that all of this is designed to make us feel that we're running out of resources. We're running out of this, we're running out of that we need a government to help us figure this shit out. And we focus on the government. And the more we focus on the government, we're like, somebody's going to save us. The more we believe somebody's going to save us, the less we do anything to save ourselves, which is wild. It's mind-blowing. Maybe the internet isn't dead. Maybe it's mirroring our collective energy. The more authentic we become, the more alive it feels. So maybe we need to get our shit together. The Mental Mastery Alliance is about reclaiming awareness, online and off. For you to be successful, for you to be happy, and I don't mean successful in the third dimensional way where, I've got billions of dollars and 10 cars and 7 wives, and 84 picket fences. The white ones. I mean, your authenticity is you. Your awareness is you. Being able to sit with you and be with you and love you and do you and rock and roll. That's where we're headed. That's what we got to do. There's so much more about this that I want to talk about, but we're up to like 45 minutes, 50 minutes here. So I'm gonna pull it. But I hope this episode at least had some people thinking about some stuff at some point, somewhere, whoever you are, because you guys are all awesome. And this was long-winded, and I know that my one-offs are usually around 20 minutes, but I guess I had a lot to say. Dead internet, man, it's crazy. It's to me, it's more than just a theory. To me, it's a reality. It's a way of life. And the more you pay attention to it, the more you comprehend it, the more you see what it is, the more you can understand that so much of this world is just you interacting with other aspects of you. I'm going to go online. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to talk to that person. I'm going to go to the corner store. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to go here and talk to that person. I'm going to go talk to my wife. I'm going to go talk to his wife. I'm going to talk to your wife. How's your wife doing? Anybody checking on your wife? Here's another thing too. Why are we so self-centered? Those who are starting to wake up are not. But we are literally built on what's in it for me. What am I going to get? Who do I have to fight to get what I want to get? Marriage is supposed to be two people who absolutely love each other, who will die for each other. But what is it today? It's two broken people that are getting together because they don't want to be broken alone. And what do? They shit all over each other. And what happens when one tries to help another person? The other person says, well, what have you done for yourself? Why would I take your advice? Fuck that. Fuck all of this. This whole world is falling apart. Dead internet is a flashlight to the rest of society. We are interconnected. The real world and the internet are reflecting of each other, and the internet's collapsing. If the internet's collapsing, so is the rest of the real world. We don't have the glimpse as to what it is, but perhaps the sky is falling, ladies and gentlemen, and perhaps it's time that we get the opportunity to step out of the illusion. In the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.